Good morning, Sonia.
Good morning, Ramsey.
How was your rest?
Very well, thank you.
Well,
How about yours?
Mine was beautiful despite the heat. Eunice, how you doing?
I'm very well. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Eunice.
Good morning, Tonia.
Welcome to Outnumbered on this beautiful day. Let's take you straight ahead to the review for the day. We begin with the nation's newspaper where we have major headlines this morning. And the first one said how to tackle national debt challenge by experts. The details of that you can get on page 4 of the nation's newspaper. Then I have another one here which says, who gets Ondo APC governorship ticket? You know what's happening in Ondo State? Even before Akeredolu passed on, there have been this form of, tussle, sort of. And I don't know, but then Ayedatiwa is actually eyeing that position. Then the big story from the nation's newspaper this morning says, Tinubu pledges safer schools after rescue of Kaduna pupils. Just one rider to that story. Defense headquarters, that is DHQ, to hand over 137 Kuriga Schoolchildren today. Then the second rider said, teacher dies in captivity. That's on a sad note. Teacher died in captivity. And of course, finally from here, this is the last I will be taking from the nation's newspaper this morning. Obi leadership tussle deepens LP crisis. Well, I don't know. LP shouldn't be having crisis, okay? They should be thinking towards 2027. And that's going to be the size of the headlines from the nation's newspaper. Just go out. If you really want to know more, pick a copy from the vendors out there. All right, over to you, Antonia, for the next paper.
Thank you, Ramsey. On the Daily Trust newspaper, 44-year-old opposition candidate wins Senegal presidential election. That's really nice. War on Gaza. U.S. turns back on Israel at UN Security Council. The next headline will be taken. Binance executive fled Nigeria with smuggled passports. Now, this story, I have mixed feelings towards this story because with smuggled passports, whose passport did he steal? How did this happen?
Where did they pass?
How
porous is our immigration?
Yes. Were they not? Did they not carry out checks? Because definitely, if you are traveling out, to check your passport, check everything, including your luggage. What were the security? How come they were not able to detect that the passport was not his?
I am feeling embarrassed already.
Honestly,
because it's an insult
to
the Nigerian Immigration Service.
Absolutely.
Because this cannot happen
it can't happen elsewhere.
In US,
you won't even
in
cross
UK. You can't cross the border. Well, I don't know why all these things are happening. Well, maybe they are trying to play on our intelligence.
All right.
The next headline, 6 points. That's actually the big story. 6.8 million naira Hajj fare. Intending pilgrims demand refund. Now we have two riders to that story. Stakeholders seek government intervention. And then the next rider says, don't take loan to top up. This is coming from the former NALCON commissioner. 6 of 137 rescued Kaduna students hospitalized. Teacher dies. Now this is while we are jubilating that these students have they've been released. It's so sad to see that one of the teachers has died, and then 6 of the students. You know, when someone is abducted, they're not being properly taken care of. Yeah, and they've been in the bush.
I saw the children and I was like, are these the children kidnapped?
Yeah. It's so sad.
They were looking like people who are malnourished.
Yes.
Because
being abducted is not funny.
It's not funny.
It's not funny at all. The trauma, the emotional stress, the stress on even their family members.
Yeah, they even fed well.
That's if they had something to
eat. If they even have anything to give them at all.
That's if they had something to eat. So that would be the size of the headlines from the Daily Trust newspaper. Over to you, Eunice.
All right, thank you very much. On The Guardian here with me, I have vandalism of 107 power towers cost 12.8 billion naira, threatens $7 billion loan. Also, you can find that on page 6. Also, we have 6 die, 30 injured in Plateau communal clashes. I don't know what the clashes was about, but you can actually find that on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. And on the next story, we have no ransom paid for 137 Kaduna pupils, says federal government. No ransom paid, but they were released. We thank God for that. And lastly, here we have Nigeria unveils $200 million global donor initiative to boost SMEs. So all the SMEs, if you have a small business, you're just coming up as an entrepreneur, you have to thank God because the federal government they have allocated $200 million global donor initiative to boost your business. All right, that's the size of the Guardian for today.
All right, thank you very much, Eunice, for that headline. Let's take you quickly to the next headline, which is actually going to be the last for the review. The Daily Times newspaper has this story, which is actually the big story on the Daily Times. And it says, no ransom paid for release of kidnapped Kuriga school children. This is coming from the federal government. And beneath that story, we have 3 dots. Pam, 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 meaning something was said. Okay,
The
before
soundtrack
that,
for me.
the soundtrack. Well, I need to sound that because says Sheikh Gumi not above the law. You know how Sheikh Gumi has actually interfaced between the Boko Haram and the federal government. He's been invited already. Probably he may have some vital information to give out, as the case may be. We are not saying he has one, but then, well, the security operatives should know what to do. Let me not preempt it then. The details of that you can get on page 4 of the Daily Times newspaper. Then, a federal government Interpol launched widespread manhunt for Binance director, Ajawala. Okay, Ajawala. All right. One writer to that story detains personnel responsible for his custody. Okay. The second Niger bridge, federal government saves 300 billion naira from new design. The details of that you can get on page 2. The detail on page 2. All right. Edo CJ reviews panel probing Shaibu, the deputy governor of Edo State, who is also contesting for the position of the governor. Is part of the governorship election, and he's the one actually saying the ticket was given to someone else, and the case now is in courts. They replaced 2 members. The details of that you can actually get on page 24 of the Daily Times newspaper. And this is going to be the size of the newspaper review for this morning. Let's quickly go on break. After this break, Ramsey, Antonia, and Eunice will be back, and it's going to be time for the big story. And when we say a story is big on Outnumbered, you know what we're talking about. It's actually big. We will return after this break.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleke TV. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleketv, rising star at the fairground.
Welcome back from that break. Outnumbered is still live on your screen, and now it is time for the big story. My name is Ramsey, and of course, Antonia and Eunice are here this morning with me. I'm actually being outnumbered today. Nobody talked about that. I'm being outnumbered, but no issues, all right? The big story stays. It's no longer news that the president came out after the kidnap of the Kuriga Schoolchildren that no ransom is going to be paid to any kidnapper. And of course, after a while, there have been some agitation. Some persons came up with different notions, and some persons were not of the same school of thought with the president when they were saying, well, sometimes if your presence is not directly kidnapped, you wouldn't know how it feels. And some other person said, well, this is a good move in the right direction. Now, we have been made to understand that no ransom was paid for the release of the kidnapped Kuriga Schoolchildren, and this is a statement coming from the federal government on the Daily Times newspaper. This big story, Antonia, let's look at it critically. Okay. No ransom was paid, all right, but these children have been released. Do you see? Okay, all right, let me just say this. Are you doubting the federal government, or you want to believe no ransom was actually paid?
I think I would believe it in a way, because if
The
a
way I'm seeing
ransom,
your face.
if ransom was the way I see my face,
No, I would believe it the way you
Yes.
sounded alone.
Because if ransom was paid, then they would have maybe come out to say it. But then it just goes
Are
to
you
show
sure?
that
Are you sure
they will come out to say it. That's why I'm like, maybe they would have reached an agreement somewhere along the line and just silence them and everything, because anything is possible in Nigeria.
Yes.
They would have done, maybe last week we talked about this terrorism insecurity, that they might be financed by some elites and some people, top personalities in Nigeria. So maybe if this was
Their
one of
names
those,
are already out.
yes,
We
their
have
names
some
are out.
financiers
Yeah,
right
we
now.
have some financiers. Last week they released about 15, and also some BDC operators. If they actually did, maybe they would have entered a closed door meeting. Okay, what would you give me if I release these children and things like that? But it just, one thing that I also want to state here is that it just goes to show that our security agencies can actually put in the work and get results. Whether they had like a closed door meeting or not, it means that whatever insecurity, whatever security challenges we're having in Nigeria, if all the security agencies put their hands, all hands are on deck, Nigeria will be able to come out of all the issues we're having as regards security.
All right. Okay, let me get to Eunice at this very particular point in time. Eunice, let me ask you this question. This question is somehow good. It's not technical, but then, how sustainable do you think this is, if of a truth no ransom was being paid? Because this is the federal government.
Yes.
Individuals are being kidnapped on a daily basis. Okay, family. We've heard a situation whereby they get into estate, kidnap father, kidnap mother,
Early this
kidnap
year.
children. Early these children,
Yeah.
it happened.
Abuja.
You know, 3 sisters were kidnapped, or 4, or thereabouts.
Their father.
Their
It's the
father,
audacity for me.
and one even died in the process. So as it is right now, how sustainable this non-payment of ransom will be? That is from the federal government to individuals.
It all boils down to the fact that, just like Sonia said, it could be that there's a relationship, there's an agreement that have been made between the elite, that the sponsors of these guys, with the federal government. We are hoping that this no payment is sustainable, and we are praying that the federal government should even stop it. They should come to an agreement with these sponsors. They should come to an agreement with these sponsors and sit down, talk about it, so there would not be any kidnap in the first place, because these people are going through traumatic experiences. Imagine you've not eaten, you've not had time for yourself, you've not done anything, and probably you're going out to look for ends meet, and you were kidnapped. You were kidnapped, taken to the bush, not even a house or anything. You were not taken care of.
Were you expecting
You're expecting them to take the kidnapped victims
Kidnappers
to a
don't
house.
pamper you.
If you are kidnapping me, you should give me
Sometimes
presidential treatment.
they trek distances in the
Kidnappers-
bush. Sometimes
you know,
my
you
God.
we
know,
hear testimony of where they
First
trek
time-
distances in the bush.
Ramsey, Eunice. So someone I know gave her experience of how she was kidnapped, and she was kidnapped, taken away. So they will stop maybe at a particular point when they've driven. Of course, you'll be blindfolded, so you
Yes.
cannot tell the direction you're being
Yes.
taken to. And then when they stop, you start trekking. You start trekking far into the bush.
They'll
And
stop driving.
They'll stop driving,
the
and you start
forest.
trekking, because they have
The
to take
person will
you.
start trekking.
Yes, with the kidnappers, they have to take you away from where human activities,
Yes.
a secluded place, and everything. So it's a whole lot.
It's terrible.
All right.
It's terrible.
Okay, it's a whole lot. It's terrible. I think what the federal government should do is how to stop this kidnap. Let the kidnap not happen. So we don't even talk about payment of ransom.
Or no payment.
Because it is something Nigerians can do. We have all the security outfits to fight this insecurity. All right? Kidnappers, abductors, every one of them can actually be arrested. Since we already have financiers, detailed investigations should be done so that these things don't happen again. We get to hear sometimes that these people are foreigners. If you know they are foreigners, send them packing or make Nigeria their graveyard. Let them not escape from this country. They should be buried. All right. This is something that can be done. If you know the kind of lives that have been wasted, people rendered homeless, fatherless, widows everywhere. The federal government want to say kudos if no ransom was actually paid before these children were released. Many other persons might still be in captivity. All right. So the federal government should do more to release as many that are in captivity. But above all, they should try as much as possible to make sure this kidnap of a thing stops. Thank you very much, Antonia, for being part of Outnumbered today.
Thank you, Ramsey.
Thank you, Eunice, for bringing your thoughts to the table.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm not bothered, even though I'm being outnumbered today. I'm so sure you have a splendid time. Do well to subscribe to the YouTube channel Oweleke TV so that you will get detailed information every time. And how do you do that? Turn on the notification button after subscription so that you will be the first to get the notification when any vital information is dropping on the channel. We reach you every day with educative, informative, and entertaining programs. My name is Ramsey, and I want to wish you a wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye for now.